3 weeks from tonight, SEC football is back. We've got the latest from fall camps, some burning questions. It's time to get our squad together.
You're talking ball with the SEC squad. From Alabama to Tennessee, from Georgia to Oklahoma, from Auburn to Texas, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming SEC weekend. It's the SEC squad, and we have a seat for you. Hurt feelings and thin skins are prohibited. Squad up, you're part of the SEC squad.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the SEC squad. Sit back, grab your favorite beverage, and join us as we get you ready for another week talking all things SEC. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Join all the action at FanDuel.com and play daily dingers. Make your free pick on who is hitting a home run today in the MLB. Let's welcome in our panel this week. We got Stephen Willis from Locked On Ole Miss, Chris Marler from Locked On Gamecocks, Corey Burton from Locked On Vandy. I'm Chris Gordy from Locked On SEC. And fellas, 3 weeks from tonight, SEC football is back. Now, I say that with a caveat. It's Mizzou versus Arkansas Pine Bluff, but still, it's our first look at Austin Simmons at Mizzou, and with Caden Lee, by the way, Stephen. We got, probably not likely Ahmad Hardy will go, but we get to see what Jamal Roberts looks like as the featured back on SEC Network. And the best part, this one's for you, Marler, Sheryl Crow will sing the national anthem that night.
Oh, that's not bad.
Oh.
You know what?
Like Steve McQueen?
It makes me happy. Little affair herself, baby. Let's go.
Heck yeah, dude.
As we dive into it, fellas, I did want to start with, because we are in the thick of fall camp now. Everybody has a handful of practices in, and I just kind of wanted to go around the horn real quick and ask you guys, what is the biggest storyline you are following in your team's camp so far? Stephen, we'll start with you.
Right tackle is the position that everybody's looking at. I think it's going to be Tommy Kinsler when it's all said and done, but Connor Halls and Carius Kerm, which has a little bit of work to do to get back up into the competition, and Enoch Weingoy. Plus, you have the options of moving people around on the line if you just want your best five guys out there. I think it's going to be Tommy Kinsler. Everybody is raving about Keelon and Trinidad like you would expect, and Jonte Cook has been a dude in fall camp so far, so I'm excited about that as well.
Kinsler transfer from Miami, right?
Yes.
And I was just reading a piece today on Terez Davis, the presumed left tackle, and he's got a really cool story as well. So.
Yeah, he is absolutely going to start. He's only played offensive line and organized football for like 4 years. He's the son of a former NBA player, longtime vet, really good. And it's at the point where Pete Golding and John Garrison just mentioned him being left tackle as a matter of fact. It's not like a competition or anything. He's got it pretty locked down at this point.
Marler, what's been the biggest storyline in South Carolina's camp so far?
Well, me and Shane were texting the other night, just best friend stuff. And no, I think the thing that I thought it would be is, maybe the Kendall Briles storyline, which has been very big, and then the offensive line part of it, because that's where they struggled the most in the past couple of years. But the story has really been the freshmen. And I think you kind of go into the year, you thought that maybe Julian Walker, the former 5-star from Dutch Fork, was going to come in and be a guy that starts opposite of Dylan Stewart, similar to what Dylan Stewart did a couple of years ago. But Jazavian Currents at safety and Darius Gray, who came in mid-year, like in the summer, as a high top 50 recruit in the offensive line, they're going to have a hard time keeping those two off the field. And you've got about 6 guys right now that are all kind of vying for some sort of not just playing time and getting on the field, but like impactful and important playing time. So that's been really interesting.
Yeah, it's funny. I was doing a hit earlier this week talking about South Carolina, and this guy was telling me how, Shane Beamer is probably going to be fired in South Carolina. They're not very good. And then we start running through the names, and it's Nick Harbor and Lenora Sellers and Dylan Stewart. And by the end of the conversation, he was like, man, okay, never mind. South Carolina's got some dudes. They're going to be really good. And so,
well, you've only had 8 months to do some research there, brother. I appreciate you taking the 11th hour approach of trying to talk positive about this team. Not you, whoever you were talking to be clear.
Yeah, small market guy, but nonetheless. Corey Burton, what's Vandy's biggest storyline so far?
Well, I think everybody can kind of guess, but the quarterback battle, the quarterback competition is, well, it's a lot closer than a lot of people are are thinking. It's Jared Curtis hasn't quite grasped the offense yet. He hadn't quite taken control and command of everything yet. Blaze Berlowitz is still hanging around. I mean, the notion is still that if it's close, Curtis is going to be the guy, but it's not clear cut right now. And it's not because Jared Curtis is bad. It's just because he's a freshman coming from single A private school football in Tennessee, and he just hasn't quite adjusted yet. The defense is throwing a lot of things at him. And then you got Blaze Berlowitz, who is using his experience to his advantage and keeping this thing close, but he still hasn't pulled away either. So it's just kind of one of those, okay, where do you go from there?
It feels like if your name is Blaze, you could be a mascot at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, you probably could. Yeah. Blaze Berlowitz too. Yeah. He's Blaze is he's a good enough quarterback. And I think if Jared Curtis wasn't in the picture, it would probably be more of a slam dunk of a start. I'll tell you who's doing really well. He's not really involved in the QB1 race, but it could get interesting if there's an injury. But Whit Muschamp is doing pretty well at camp. He's having a really good camp. Just
your boy, huh?
Yeah. I'm really proud of him. I've been watching him from down here in Austin. Hold on, my glasses have ridden up. I've been watching him all the way from Austin, and man, it's going to be good.
It's funny the parallel. I was talking to somebody. We were talking NFL, and this guy was like, "Why would the Raiders start Kirk Cousins and not Fernando Mendoza, their number one pick? Like, just put him out there." And I was like, the parallel is kind of funny to Vanderbilt, where it's almost like even if Blaze Berlowitz wins the job, nobody thinks he's going to be the quarterback by midseason. Like, it feels like Jared Curtis eventually needs to be thrown out there.
It's one of the most complicated quarterback competitions that I've kind of ever seen because, like, there's no clear-cut answer. Like, the obvious answer is not obvious right now, and that's what's kind of making this thing muddy.
Let me get your guys' thoughts on, because obviously there's a bunch of other teams going on. The Alabama and Tennessee quarterback battle seem to be the two biggest that everybody's watching. Florida as well, but we'll start with Alabama. It was kind of interesting. Pete Thamel saying on Wednesday that he wants to make a decision. He said about a week and a half into camp. Now I think Bama's got a scrimmage coming up, and so where are you guys on the Alabama quarterback spot? Should it be Keelon Russell, or will it be Austin Mack, the guy who's been in their system for going on 4 years now?
When the coach puts a timeline on that, he's already made his decision. The reason it's not been announced is because he doesn't want to mess up anything. I think it's going to be Keelon Russell. He had the big spring game, and from all accounts that I've heard, he's doing very well in fall camp as well. I think he can do the stuff that Michael Penix did at Washington. I think that's the role you see with Kalen DeBoer and all of that. That seems to be the goal. I don't think, for whatever reason, really good quarterback probably could be all right with Austin Mack, but Keelon Russell, his ceiling is probably that one step higher, and I think he gets the job because of that.
Well, look, if anybody can relate to college football blue-collar fans, it's Pete Thamel, the robot over at ESPN, who this is what he said yesterday on SportsCenter. Austin Mack is like investing in the S&P 500. There's going to be ups and downs, but you're going to get steady growth. On Keelon Russell, he's a little bit somewhat like a semiconductor stock. There's going to be big swings, maybe a little more vulnerability, but at the end of the day, the higher profit margin is going to be enticing. And I went, Pete, man, you get football fans. You know exactly the comparisons.
Pete Thamel's AI. He's an AI avatar.
He's a bot.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be I think that Austin Mack has really done better in this, and it's lasted a lot longer than I thought it ever would. Will say that I think that the Keelon Russell, I've maintained this from day one, is Keelon Russell is not just a 5-star quarterback at Alabama. He's the highest ranked recruit in the history of the program. And that doesn't necessarily matter to saying that that guy's got to start. Steven, like last year's a perfect example, Austin Simmons, huge recruit. Obviously, Corey, what you just mentioned. So it's not saying that that automatically translates into they should be the starter. But I'll tell you right now, I've been very firmly in the camp of Austin Mack has taken a lot of reps to the first team running back and center, so he's getting every opportunity. I've been very much in the camp that he is not going to be on the hot seat this year because they cannot afford to fire him for $67.5 million. If you want to find out how quickly this thing can turn on you, no matter how big that contract is, figure out a way to have Keelon Russell run off because he didn't start this year. And Julian saying the day you got on campus because of the same quarterback, if that quarterback doesn't come in here and go win you a bunch of games and get you near the national championship, because that's what he's done with Austin Mack. He didn't know who Julian Sayin was. Julian Sayin leaves Ohio State. I think, last time I checked, doing pretty well. That is a dangerous game to play with anyone, but especially that fan base.
Yeah, I almost feel like I have to mention this because I said this to somebody the other day that go look at 247. They've got Keelon Russell as the highest rated Bama recruit of all time, ahead of Bryce Young, Andre Smith, Cyrus Kwanjo, Najee Harris, Ryan Coleman Williams, Cam Robinson, Deshaun Hand, Landon Collins. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's wild. And I'm like, if that guy's the greatest recruit to come to Alabama ever, you're really going to tell me he's going to sit for 2 years? Like, going to the second year, he's just going to sit?
I think that you look at this if you're Bama, and I don't know if they're going to look at this. I am not as high on Alabama this year, but I would say that part of it's because you have 7 total seniors on this roster. And I kept saying you have to look at this for a 2-year window of like, they've recruited really well. They've retained all that talent really, really well. That's probably why their recruiting this year has kind of gone down. But you do not want to set yourself up in a situation where next year, you're not supposed to win the Natty. You're supposed to make the playoff this year. Like, I don't know why you would not try to build on success and ensure that this kid's coming back next year.
Yeah. And on top of it, I mean, if you go with Austin Mack, and let's say he goes 9-3, and you have a nice season, but you missed the playoff, then are you starting Keelon Russell in 2027 with barely any experience? It just feels like get him out there, get his legs under him, and build for a 2027 championship run and see what happens.
That's what I've been saying about Jared Curtis too. I mean, it's a very risk-averse thing, Chris. Sorry to cut you off, but like, it's a very risk-averse thing to start Austin Mack. He's the safe quarterback. Keelon Russell has the highest upside. He's going to give you everything you need from, long term for what Alabama needs to be a good to get back, or hopefully get back to the level that they've been at. So that's something to consider there too. It's got some parallels with the Vanderbilt quarterback battle as far as like high floor versus high ceiling.
Do you really want to sit here and like, again, he's not on the hot seat this year because mathematically and financially that is not going to happen. Like, you can sit here and say the fans are going to get mad if they lose a bunch of games. Well, those fans are not the one deciding on whether or not he stays or writing the checks. That, like, it's pretty simple. But if you want to play this game where he sits for another year and you're just like, oh, we had a great relationship, he's going to stay, surely, and he's not going to go. SMU is going to need a new quarterback last year, the other place he was committed to before he went to Alabama, because Kevin Jennings is going to be gone. Miami has shown time and time again they will come calling for elite quarterbacks and like with upside and pay them a ton of money. Like, that is a dangerous game to play.
And remember, Arch Manning graduates this year, heads out, or gets gone. If Texas comes open and you don't think that they will spend on a quarterback, especially that one from near there, you're crazy.
Yeah.
One other note on Tennessee, Faizon Brandon signed a high-profile NIL deal this week with Roback. Marcel Reed is another one of the players who re-signed with them. But it got me wondering, guys, is that a public sign that maybe Faizon Brandon is going to be QB1 for the Vols? Like, in other words, why would these big companies sign the backup quarterback to NIL deals?
Yeah, same with Curtis. But, yeah, I think that's going to be more of a slam dunk too. Like, I think he's starting to separate from everything that I'm seeing.
Yeah, they're promoting him on social media. He's becoming the clip guy. And the one thing you can tell whenever they cut down all the access is who are the social media people promoting. He's somebody that is showing up. So I expect him to win the job at this point, honestly.
One other note, Georgia, apparently Mike Bobo says they are going to let it fly this year, that they're going to open up the offense at Georgia. It's what Bulldogs fans have been asking for a couple of years now.
5-yard hitches instead of screen passes. Okay.
They might throw a slant route, Steve. Come on.
Okay.
They might throw a deep curl.
Heavy dose of the tight end, I would still expect.
Do we think Mike Bobo knows what a slot fade is?
Didn't they throw one to win it against Tennessee last year?
Yeah, they did. There we go.
Humphreys, yeah, and that was Ladd McConkey's favorite route. So
yeah,
he definitely knows how to. He definitely knows how to throw those.
The freaks list that Bruce Feldman put out this past week had London Humphreys on there. I was surprised.
And not a single player from LSU. That was one of the most shocking things. Like London Humphreys made it over Trey Green. But I will say this, Bruce Feldman, that is not a job I envy out of anybody. That's a really extensive list. And I feel like I have a timeline of like where we are in the off season, and like that list coming out right after the rankings and then the Little League World Series. We're here. Like we are at the final minutes of the fourth quarter of the offseason.
When we return, guys, a little bit of a debate that came up earlier this week, and I feel like a lot of folks across the SEC and across the country, for that matter, may be asking themselves on who's the best quarterback heading into this season. We'll talk about that next. Hey guys, today's squad show is brought to you by FanDuel. Baseball fans, if you think you know who's hitting a home run today, FanDuel is giving you a free chance to call your shot with daily dingers. It is easy to play. You just make your free pick for who you think will hit a home run in their game. If you're right, you'll receive a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra innings, or extra winnings rather. Best of all, you can make a free pick every day throughout the MLB season. Daily Dingers is another fun way to stay engaged with every day's games, whether you're following your favorite team or keeping an eye on matchups across the league. Every game is someone capable of going deep. Now you get the chance to make your prediction before first pitch. There are certain players where every at-bat feels like something big could happen. That's what makes Daily Dingers fun. You get to back the player you think is ready to go deep that day. Look, two picks I'd probably make today, Kyle Schwarber and Yordan Alvarez, two pretty safe picks who have been crushing home runs throughout the season. If you're ready to play your game today, go join the action at FanDuel.com. It's FanDuel.com to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a home run, play ball, and swing for the fences over at FanDuel, an official partner of the MLB. We're along here on our squad show. I got into this debate earlier this week, guys, and I'm curious to kind of hash it out. It's good we got Steven with us, but somebody was debating with me on who is the best quarterback heading into the 2026 season. Is it Arch Manning or is it Trinidad Chambliss? And we're seeing a lot of these quarterback lists are coming out, and particularly from the SEC, it's kind of a consensus that, you know, those guys are the 1 and 2. But I'm curious, what say you guys? Steven, we'll start with you because I think that's the obvious answer, but who do you have as the best quarterback?
Well, you know, for just being honest about it, I think there's two schools of thought on this stuff. There's NFL prospect and there's college quarterback. Trinidad Chambliss is by far the better college quarterback, and I think he's the best college quarterback in the country. But he might not be the best NFL prospect. That might be the guy in Austin or the quarterback at Oregon or Julian Saying and all those guys. But Trinidad Chambliss, for my money, is the best quarterback in all of the sport. And I don't know if I would really entertain anything other than that. But I do get the Arch Manning thing if you're looking at it from NFL prospect land.
Corey?
Steve, you hit the nail on the head right there. I mean, I think when it comes to just a quarterback that you want to run your game and win your game and win a playoff game, it's Trinidad Chambliss. The guy can do everything. He's got escapability. He can move the pocket. He can throw off platform. He's probably one of the best ones I've seen do it in quite some time. There's some throws that I was surprised that he could make that he made against Georgia in the Sugar Bowl and also against Miami in the semifinal. And there was other throws throughout the season. But man, I mean, as far as talent goes, as far as playing in a system that's tailor made for him, he checks a lot of boxes in that regard. Now, Arch Manning, yeah, he's probably the better pro prospect, and he's right there with Trinidad. But I think if you're ranking him and you have to go 1, you have to go 2. I'm going Trinidad, then Arch.
Marler, what say you?
What are y'all talking about? I wasn't listening to anything. No, I'm kidding. I think this is the easiest decision and easiest ranking of the offseason. It's 1 Trinidad, 2 Arch Manning, and I think it's probably, I don't think it's a severe drop off. I think the quarterback play is going to be very, very interesting this year. I think the more important, not more important, but like more intriguing question is going to be where do you go after that? Because I think Gunnar Stockton's a guy that continuously gets.
I think you go Gunnar Stockton. I mean, he's right there at 3, and if Trinidad and Arch Manning weren't there, Gunnar would probably be number 1. But
I think after that is Lenore Sellers. I'm telling you. Him and a Kendall Browse offense, he's built an in lab for that.
But I also agree with what you said earlier, Stephen, which is like it's hard to figure out like where are we going with this? Like it's like the top 25. Are we saying right now, here's what I think the best teams are. Is this where they're going to end up? For the quarterback thing, it's like I am fully on board if you want to say Byron Brown should be ranked in the top 5 because of his production, but it's like he hasn't done the SEC. We saw last year what that looks like with John Mateer. Marcel Reed, Lenora Sellers, Byron Brown. I feel like I'm missing one that are all like 3-year starters at the FBS level going to year 3, maybe not necessarily all at their current, like team, but I think that it's interesting who will be around 3 to 7. I do think that Lenora should be up there in the top 5 for sure. And then the stuff with Sam Levitt, I mean, I've been at those practices a lot. I think he's going to put up really good numbers. I do not think that his skill set is necessarily that much better than the other 2 guys we just mentioned. But he is going to put up ridiculous numbers because everyone does in a Kiffin offense.
Yes, he's going to put up 3,000 yards in the season. That's the bare minimum. That's the floor in a Lane Kiffin offense. What determines year 1 Matt Corral or year 1 Jackson Dart versus year 2 of both of them is the interception rate. Corral threw 6 interceptions at Arkansas. So the timing and all that's where the problem will lie, just as somebody that has ridden the Lane Kiffin roller coaster.
Well, let me give you the pro for Arch Manning and what this guy was making a case for. He said, Trinidad, we're basing our opinion on Trinidad on what we saw from him down the stretch of last season. But look at that receiver room. 90% of his receivers are gone. Deuce Alexander's back, but it's a whole new receiver room. And Lane Kiffin's gone, and Charlie Weiss Jr. is gone. He was making the case not that Trinidad is bad, but that maybe we're elevating him because we're thinking of the last Trinidad we saw with all those coaches and players around him, whereas Arch now brings back Ryan Wingo, brings back Emmett Mosley, and adds Cam Coleman. That was his case for why he puts Arch slightly ahead of Trinidad.
I will say this in this conversation, because I've heard it all off season like that. Joe Judge returning to Ole Miss was absolutely huge. There's a lot of the free release stuff that New England used to do with Tom Brady, to where there's just like a 3-yard hitch. If it's available, they just take it right now, make a man miss and get first downs and like that. And John David Baker was the co-offensive coordinator and was at Ole Miss before Charlie Weiss even got there. Then went to East Carolina and took the worst offense in college football and turned it into a top 15 unit. So we're not going to change systems. The whole thing about Pete Golding is said this was going to be a plug-and-play thing. Think Alabama with Nick Saban whenever they went from Kiffin to Sark to Bill O'Brien. That's kind of what they're trying to replicate. But I don't see a drop-off with the coach because those coaches are there. And Joe Judge is immense for Trinidad in that quarterback room. And I just don't think – I think he got overshadowed last year because of the other stuff.
What if these receivers aren't as good as last year's? Is that a fair question?
Well, last year, remember, you're talking about Deshaun Stribling and Trey Wallace. They were 1-year rentals, just like the 1-year rentals they got this year. It's not somebody that has been in the system. So Jonte Cook, I think he's going to be a star. He has the potential to be the best slot receiver that Ole Miss has had since Elijah Moore. When you have Deuce Alexander, he's going to play on the outside. I've heard rumors of 12 personnel and Caleb Odom at tight end and Luke Haas, and changing that around and just trying to get weapons on there. Now, if the receiving core is not quite as good, okay. But if you take one step back, it's not going to affect you because the defense is going to take a step or 2 forward. If you take 5 steps back, that's going to be the problem. And I just don't think Ole Miss is at a point to where they sign players that would take them 5 steps back.
But you would agree Cam Coleman is better than any receiver currently on Ole Miss's team.
Yes, but Arch Manning is not near Trinidad throwing the football. There's an accuracy problem. And there has been his whole career. So Cam Coleman's going to make some great catches and do all that, but he's also going to have some surefire touchdowns that get overthrown. It's one of those things. So it might be a little bit better and everything going on, but I don't think that Arch Manning is at a level to where he's going to compete with Trinidad Chambliss at this point.
That was a good debate. I thought Steven might break some things with that argument, but he didn't. He kept a level head and stayed.
You know what? Debate. He was talking to himself about how great Ole Miss was.
Hey, come on, man! I talked about Lenore's too.
That's true. That's true. I think they're going to be good. I just have a hard time believing they're going to take a giant step back. I do think there's also an argument to be made though about like because we've talked at length about how like hey, how is this offense going to be so great without Charlie Weiss and Lane Kiffin? But there's also an argument if you want to look at like the devil's advocate side of that is like, well, how is this offense at LSU going to be so great without Trinidad Chambliss and some of those guys? Because he is the best quarterback I think in the country, and I think it's one of those things too where it's like you really didn't want the season to end because he just felt like he got better every single week, I just don't see that necessarily trailing off.
Yeah, and LSU fans that might be watching this with Lane, I know you're excited and you're like, hey, we're going to have Jackson Dart, we're going to have Matt Corral. But you're not going to have year 3 Jackson Dart. You still have to go through 2022 Jackson Dart where he was linebacker blind at times. So it's a growing process. He's going to be fine. LSU's going to win a ton of games. But I would pump the brakes a little bit on it this year, honestly.
The Texas thing is just intriguing too because their schedule's just brutal. I mean, like you just would if their schedule was easier, I think I'd be a little bit more on board. Hey, Arch is a lock for the Heisman and all that, but it's a tough schedule.
Yeah, they are all in this year too. So if for some reason they drop that Ohio State game and maybe lose to Oklahoma for their second loss, it could be an A-bomb in Austin.
All right. One more question when we return here real quick on the squad show, and it's pertaining to Netflix and the SEC. That's coming your way next. Hey, guys, since 1986, the Game has been creating classic college hats that fans are proud to wear, whether you're an alumnus, current student, season ticket holder, or simply somebody who never misses a game. A great college hat is more than just apparel. It is a way to represent your school wherever you go. This year, the Game is celebrating their 40th anniversary by giving fans a chance to save on some of their most iconic college hats. If you've been thinking about replacing an old favorite or adding a new one to your collection, now is the perfect time. Classic college hat is something you can wear year-round, whether you're going to a game, running errands, or, going on vacation. I can't tell you guys how many places I've been this summer, people on summer vacation, and they've got their Game hat on with hundreds of officially licensed college hats to choose from. You'll find the perfect fit for game day and every day. Don't miss this chance to celebrate 40 years of the Game with 40% off your entire order. Visit thegamecaps.com and use promo code LOCKEDON at checkout. That's thegamecaps.com, promo code LOCKEDON. Celebrate 40 years of the Game with 40% off, but don't wait. This anniversary offer will not last forever. All right, guys, final segment here on the squad, and this kind of caught me. I thought this was kind of understood, but it made news this past week that the Netflix show that aired on or about the SEC last summer, there is no show this year. And again, not a surprise because we would have heard about them filming throughout last season. But are you surprised that it was a one-hit deal and that was kind of it? Are you surprised that that wasn't something that got picked up again? Because the other things like the Netflix quarterback show and the NFL quarterbacks, that's gone several seasons now. Are you surprised the SEC football doc didn't last?
Not many people did it. That like the teams that were going to be very successful didn't participate last year, even when they did it. And because of that, you probably didn't get the interest of what was going on. I think the biggest team was Brian Kelly's LSU. And last year, going through the season, we all know how that ended up. But I don't think there was any Alabama. There wasn't any Georgia or Ole Miss or Texas. And you just end up watching, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, and stuff like that. And
Alabama was definitely on there. They were on there getting beat by Vanderbilt.
Well, because it was from 2 years ago. It was last summer's show, but it was from the season prior.
I think they talked about it at media days. Like, make sure you tune in. We're going to do a thing tonight. It's a special screening. We're going to feature 2 games: the Vandy Alabama game and LSU South Carolina. I was like, I'll jump out of the window. How about that? I'd rather. I will tell you this. I don't know what they're going to do. I thought they would go to a different conference, maybe do the Big Ten, especially with how well they're doing.
Oh God, who would watch that?
I mean, probably somebody. I don't know. I'm just glad that they're. I'm hoping that not doing this show so they can make another one of these horny ass hockey shows they keep making on all these different. I can listen. If I have to hear one more thing about these hockey shows that my fiance keeps watching, I don't think we're going to make it to the wedding, boys. So I would much rather have Big Ten football than heated rivalry or whatever those things are.
Well, he is going to do the Locked On Rutgers hit, so we're
I mean, look, you want to convince me Netflix does the thing on Ohio State, Michigan, maybe even Indiana or Oregon. I can hear that, but you really want to do a doc on Wisconsin? Or
but that's the thing that's different about this conference is like you could figure out a way to tie the vanity like element to this, and people would watch it because they have that moment where it's like, hey, we're gonna do a preview of Northwestern playing in that little Erector Set stadium full of 12,000 people against Oregon. You're like, okay, I'm good. I'm gonna go watch the WNBA.
I'm sorry, Rutgers and Purdue participating in a Netflix documentary would be electric. I'm sorry. It's like we're going for 2-10. We're going to happen this year. It's going to happen. We're going to go 2-10.
Steve, I had somebody try to convince me.
Fired up over there now. You're getting it fired up.
I'm team spoiler maker.
Yeah.
Somebody tried to convince me that the Big Ten collectively has better coaches than the SEC, and I just
who was it? Brett Bielema. Him?
Well, yeah, him.
Find your number and call you.
The Purdue athlete.
The other night, I was eating a bowl full of banana pudding with my hands, and I saw what you were saying about my team. I just so you know, we won the Cheez-It Bowl 3 years ago. Like, all right, Brett, thanks, it.
The Purdue athletic director saying, if you want to win championships, come here. If you don't, go to Indiana. My goodness, man.
I was like, oh boy,
what can you get? I don't even know. Oh God. So I know
I'm not going to tell you where they hired him from.
It's like the Moneyball GM. He does not watch the games.
Without Googling, can you guys name the Rutgers head football coach?
That's that's Schiano.
Yeah, Greg Schiano.
Yeah. Just checking. How about the UCLA coach?
The guy from KMU.
Okay,
Chesney.
what's his name?
Bob Chesney.
Yeah.
It's not Kenny Chesney.
just try to make a point. Like, we can name all the SEC head coaches, but Big Ten, there's definitely a drop off. So
is Barry Odom the Indiana or the Purdue coach?
Yeah,
I think he's still there.
I don't know who's at Arkansas, nor do I need to either. So
Ryan Silverfield,
Ryan Springfield.
No, it's just funny because there was that article this week on coaches on the hot seat. It was like Luke Fickell. It was like a dozen Big Ten coaches. I'm like, how do you have the best coaches and you're all in the hot seat?
Yeah. Well, I heard Silverfield put clocks back on the wall, so that's something.
His aura and his anyway. All right, that's all for me, folks.
That's it for us, guys. Make sure you follow and subscribe to your favorite SEC show. We'll be covering your favorite team every day throughout the season. Don't forget, I'll have you covered on the entire conference every day with Locked On SEC. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. Have a great day, everybody. Talk to you with another edition of Squad Show next week.